Top of the evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks again for tuning in. I hope you've been enjoying our Kngdom podcast here. If you have been, give us a quick like, quick subscribe. All you need to do to subscribe is have a Google account. Super simple. And as we've said, it truly means the world to us. So thanks again for watching. Let's get right to our drums. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back yet again to the Kngdom. As always, my name is Drums, and I am joined by the brothers behind King Golf, Regan and Jordan Headley. As we usually do, we're going to send it up north, check in with our boy Reg, see what's going on. How you doing, buddy?
Fellas, I'm doing good. We got out of the freezer and we're into -1 today. That's kind of a nice change from -80 for the last 3 weeks. Didn't have to sprint to and from the car today, and didn't get frostbite on my hands from 2 seconds of exposure. So it's kind of good.
Only time I'm ever happy to wear my mask is when it's -48 degrees out.
Oh, exactly. It's kind of nice, actually. You don't even think
you
take it off when you go outside.
Yeah.
You can't really see all of it in the camera here, but I'm kind of in a mess in the basement here. Told you guys before the show, we had an offer accepted on a house here in Dauphin on Sunday, so it's a pretty big week here. We're trying to get this house ready to be listed on the next day or so here. So fingers crossed. There still has to be a couple things go our way before we get it, but yeah, things are pretty exciting around here.
Who Dauphin, but congrats.
Sorry, boys.
Okay.
I'll have an actual podcast office there, so that'd be pretty cool.
Oh, stepping up.
I have a choice, unfortunately. He might get it's right across from Doug, so he might get mauled by Sevy.
I didn't hear any of that. Did you, Drums?
It kicked in at like the end.
Oh. I asked you about Hank, and then you cut out. I thought that we were
and then he started talking about him. I was like, what the hell happened? Yeah. But we'll move on now. Jor, what's going on over a couple blocks away, my friend?
We got a hot start tonight. Top of the evening to you folks. Last episode we did a quick one because we were doing a bit of planning before the show, and just squeaked one out. And I swear you guys gave me Omnicron through the screen. Because the next day I woke up and I don't know. I was talking to Kel about it today. It honestly seemed like it was the mildest cold I've ever had, but it's just lingering. Like it's still kind of with me here, and I got some body aches and tired and stuff. But because usually when I used to get sick, it would be like, bang, one day I'm out, and then the next day I'm better.
Right.
But this is it's been a week so far and it's still dragging on. So thanks for that, boys. Did manage to squeak out a new video for the Kngdom YouTube channel though, Old Head Golf Links.
That was good.
If you haven't checked it out yet, please do. It's pretty cool.
Sick video. I laughed out loud when you said, yeah, this guy, could see him here, walks in front of me. He's kind of walking in front of me all day. Just kidding. He was actually a pretty good guy. And then a little laugh in there. I was laughing pretty good at that.
Yeah, your narration was a little bit, what do they call that one? ASMR? You guys know what that is?
No.
Oh, so like unbelievable, actually. ASMR, there's videos and there's like audio versions, but it's people like they talk in a whisper. And they accentuate, like they'll be like tapping a glass, so it just like makes you relax from sounds and shit like that. Yeah, look it up. It's crazy. It works like for like meditations and falling asleep too. It's pretty weird.
It was fun. It was a fun. Never done something like that before, so it was cool. It was a little bit out of my comfort zone, but and I was the only one on the course too. I said to Rigo, I wish he would have been there so we could have 2 shots going on, but it is what it is. I just wanted to show it to people because it's such a cool golf course and pictures can only do so much. So added some pictures, added some videos, added my ASMRT voice, and got her in there. So that's enough for me, Drums. What's up with you, buddy?
Actually nothing over here, nothing new. I guess like you said with this virus, I have a little bit of it's literally just like a tickle in my throat that I gotta every
Me too.
fucking 10 minutes.
All
and
the time.
It's just annoying as shit. And it's been like that for like 3 weeks now. My appetite is back in full force now. So that's, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I can actually start eating food again. And then this
Probably a
weekend,
good thing.
yeah, this weekend we have a mini version of Luca's first birthday. We're gonna have the family get together and get that going, and it's hard to believe that it's been a year, but
Unbelievable.
we've survived a year.
2021 went so fast, man. Like, I can't even put it into words.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm. There's actually a lot of good highlights from it, but
There was,
truthfully, for how shitty it could have been, there's actually lots of good highlights. Weird about this, whatever it is. I actually look back in the calendar, and I've had whatever this is since December 28th, and like it just every day, like
Are you still sick?
oh yeah, every day, like it's unreal. It just won't go away. I don't know, December 28th till now, it's crazy. But like, not like you said, not I was like knocked down for a couple of days, but now it's just like I don't notice it. But yeah, you have to clear your throat, and I'm never blow my nose like ever throughout the year, and it's like I'm Stan Hominick on a cold spring day, just snot dripping out of my nose. Like
I will say I tested negative today, so it's not like I have it. I know that. So
yeah, me too.
all right, Reggie, what do you got
Drums.
for backup or not backup, housekeeping?
Housekeeping
What do you got for
on the
backup?
weekend. minus
Who's your
minus
backup?
32, finished third place.
Yeah,
Minus 32
wow.
in 4 rounds, finished third place.
Oh, at the Century. Yeah.
Okay, like, are we serious?
I did see a good tweet that said if any course was playing per conditions the same as what that course was, the guys would score the exact same. And JT was like, we would rip apart any course based on conditions.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
But that was the lowest score in PGA history, right?
Yep.
Minus 34, Cam Smith. What a beauty that guy is.
So doesn't he have
Full
to cut the
mullet.
mully now?
I don't know what the story with that is, but
I
he
thought
is
it was,
better not.
so hard not to like.
I thought it was his wife let him do it until he got a victory.
He's so
But
cool, man.
didn't he have
'cause
another victory?
He would have had to have because he
But
was just the tournament champions.
But it wasn't a PGA Tour.
Right.
It's like
Yes.
whatever the classification of it.
What was it? DP?
Did you see Matt Jones?
Mike Jones,
Less than 5 seconds from when he addresses the ball till when he hits it.
love it.
It's unreal. Like it
Love it.
happens so
What would
fast.
average be?
Oh, probably like close to 10.
If you ask Rob, it's 3 minutes.
How about his weekend though? 62-61, Matt Jones. He's sick to watch too. There's so many good golfers right now, man. It's unbelievable. I don't know. Oh, and
Speaking
one
of
last
that.
bit of housekeeping. You've done a great job at the start of the Kingdom here, Jor. Like the new portal that we have there. There's been some good stuff on there, man. Like that seminar.
Yeah, right. Forgot about that.
The release of the Kingdom, it is awesome stuff. Topped off by your video, like you said, from Old Head there. That's a sick video. Well done.
Thanks, buddy.
Hopefully the content keeps coming out. That's good stuff.
Golf clap
Yeah,
to Jor.
it's something that we're trying to get going here, and it's a slow process, as everything is when you're trying to reach the world, as what's his name would say there, the world. We're
We're back in a
comedian.
pest.
Norm.
Oh, yeah, Norm McDonald. When Germany goes to war with the world.
But yeah, no, I mean, like I said, we launched in November-ish and had a ton of people on there. And this, I never told you this, but I was checking like our portal there every couple of days, and there wasn't much coming on there. And there was like 2 weeks, nothing. And so I tried uploading one myself. The link's broken because I upgraded from 1 month to a year. And apparently they changed my uplink or something. So I was sending this out to people, and like the page was a no entry zone. So I restarted it, and we've had some people upload. Rippy uploaded a video. So as we've said, it's winter time. Check your phone, check your computer, whatever. If you have any old good golf videos, send it to us, because we're going to start pumping them out there, and we're going to be paying people for it. So pretty cool stuff that we hope to continue to grow.
Donnie asked if it has to be golf because he said he's gonna.
Yes, I'm waiting for a crazy video to come on there. It hasn't happened yet.
He said he's gonna start taking video of noon hour hockey every day and hope he gets some on video there. But
okay, I thought it was gonna be something else. Drums. Let's get to the business here. We got a big night tonight. We've had another meltdown. I would say I'm blurry. We've had another meltdown. We had a laugh attack, but we're back. And we want to talk about our guest quickly. Who is it, Rigo? Drums tried this 6 times, I think. But Rigo, who is our guest tonight?
I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get through this, but here we go. It's our buddy, Aaron Cockerill, AC, reigning from Stony Mountain, Manitoba. He's heading into his 3rd year on the European Tour. He gave us an insight on how his 2021 year went. How he has prepared with DI, another friend of the show, Derek Ingram, for the upcoming 2022 season. We touched on his new putting technique, and we also touched on his stance on how these new tours are kind of rivaling the PGA and the DP World Tour as well. And yeah, we just had a great chat with him, actually. It was probably one of the funner interviews we've done, I would say. And without further ado, let's head into it.
We'd like to welcome our next guest and recurring guest, Aaron Cockerill. He is heading into his 3rd season on the DP World Tour. Welcome back to the show, Aaron Cockerill. How's it going, AC?
Thanks for having me, boys. I'm good. How are you guys doing?
We're alive and kicking for the most part. I think everybody's kind of over the cold, as we'll call it, and getting back into action here.
Let's do a quick cheers. This is last time AC didn't have a beer on here, so he's got a Guinness. Represent.
Even in the proper
Cheers, boys.
glass here.
Oh, Guinness cup.
Jeez. Holy.
Big deal.
Or somehow survived the way back from Ireland too. We bought a couple at the gift store, along with my green T-shirt that we were just referring to. So welcome back, buddy. Glad to have you. Things are a little bit different, I think, overall in the world than they were last time we chatted with you. I did a quick rerun of our first interview with you, and you were in a hotel room in England with your caddy Stuart.
Yeah.
And
when was that? That was like summer of 2020. Would that be when it was?
Summer, fall, yeah. Because I think we were just getting ready for the Tamarack.
Okay.
So end of
so
August.
that was just when I had just started like playing tournaments again. I remember where I was. I just didn't know what time of the year it was.
You weren't able to have any family or anything in your little bubble there. So things are a little bit better nowadays, I would say. That was actually our first interview that we had on here with our premium Zoom membership too. We had to bump it up because we had a big guest coming on. So we were on the free.
You got to upgrade if you have more than like people on here.
After 40 minutes, we'd have to shut her down every time.
It's no joke.
Yeah, that was real. So
it was super ghetto.
Well, we've got her kind of figured out now, and just one last highlight from that first episode was we asked you what your favorite course in Manitoba was. So I wanted to ask you if it's changed, and also you said Elmhurst.
Okay, that was going to be my first question. Is what did I say?
But we wanted to give a quick shout out to Elmhurst too, because we had our first ever award show a couple weeks ago called the Domies, and Elmhurst was basically in the running for every category for best greens, best fairways, top course. But because we kind of have more of a rural following, they never got any of the trophies. So we just wanted to give a quick shout out to Elmhurst. I've never played there before, but is that your first? Is that still number one for you?
Yeah, I guess depends if you're just talking about like if you want to go have fun with your buddies or if you want to like host a tournament. Or I would say if you're to like host a proper tournament somewhere in Manitoba, I think you'd have to have it there. It's like when they tip it out and get the greens going, it's a pretty legit test. Like when they had the Canadian Am there, I think it was like 4 under par 1. I think
wow.
Pendrith was in the playoff. So it can play pretty tough. And I am kind of a member there, been a member there for a while, so I'm a bit biased there. But I went out and played Granite Hills this summer before my wedding out there, and that place is sneaky pretty good.
It is.
The conditions aren't, you know, as good as some of the like nice places you'll play in the city. Obviously, they probably just don't have the budget, but like some of the holes, I was looking around and it just doesn't even feel like you're in Manitoba. Like on the back nine there, some of the holes out on the water, and it was like 14 or something. You're like up high looking over and seeing the lake. Like,
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Reg isn't a fan at all.
Well, no, that's, I wouldn't
No,
say
you
I'm
hate
not a
it.
fan.
You hate it.
No. You know what? I've actually thought about it quite a bit since, and we played from like however many sets of tees there. Let's say there's 5 tees.
You've
We played
diarrhea
like-
shit all over it.
Yeah,
like an
because we
entire
played from like
episode.
the third tees in and waited 6.5 hours behind a group of 8 idiots the whole round. So it wasn't the best experience, and the marshals are being dinks too. So I didn't have a good day that day.
Were the greens in good shape?
When I was there,
Aaron.
It was average. It just, I think they get so much play, and it was like kind of soft. It was in September, so there was like just a lot of pitch marks, and like you get people probably not fixing their divots kind of thing. But I've also heard, I actually have never played Clear Lake. I've heard that is pretty solid, and that's kind of your guys' direction, right?
You've never played Clear Lake?
Never been, no.
City folk just don't make it out here at all.
Hey, I'm rural. I'm Stony Mountain.
Yeah.
True.
Don't group me in there. I actually went out to, me and the old lady went out to Elkhorn for the first time just to do like the spa and stay out there over Christmas, and it's kind of scoping out the area, and it looks awesome out there. Again, not overly like the rest of Manitoba. There's some elevation out there. You drive up and down a few hills, and nice little spot.
yeah,
That's as good as it gets in Manitoba for hills, I think. They call it a mountain, but I think go ahead, Rigo.
I was just gonna say, I think Clear Lake could be a lot more attractive if it wasn't so busy all the time. Just like, and obviously that's why it is busy all the time, because it's one of the nicer places in Manitoba, I would say. But it's just so like you can't even walk down Main Street there without bumping into 10 people.
Oh, really? Okay.
Like on the sidewalks in the summertime. It's just it's a tourist place, and same type of deal on the course. If you go there on a Saturday in the summer, like you're looking at
6 hours.
6 hours easy.
Yeah.
But it's an unreal course. Like we've talked on here, like how we take it for granted because we played it so many times. But if you were somebody who played it for the first time, like you'd be very impressed with that course.
Yeah.
It's a cool course.
Yeah, I guess you usually wouldn't get to do much golf in Manitoba nowadays, hey, with the seasons.
I maybe play 6-7 rounds a year here in the summer. Just not home a lot. And when I am, there's usually the first week I'm kind of taking off really, and I'll do a lot of practice. So, and then like, I live close to St. Charles, and they're nice enough to give me access out there. So I go out there a decent amount and maybe play Elmhurst a few times and there a few times. And that's honestly about it now. But we have friends, they have a cabin at Clear Lake. So I told them we're going to go out there and make a weekend of it this year and hopefully play Clear Lake, because I've never been out there. So
Right on.
It'll be sweet.
Yeah, get out there right after the Tamarack. It'll be real beaten up for you. But it's usually in pretty good shape by that time of the year.
Where do you practice when you're home in the wintertime?
That's a good question. I do have something in my garage, but the ceiling is a little low. So I can do like irons, and I have a putting. I can do like all my irons. And then I have a putting green in there too. But St. Charles, again, they let me go there, and they have this super nice. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but they like on the side of the driving range, they have that studio, and there's like 2 garage bays, and in the winter they obviously just leave them closed, and big space. Like the whole floor is like a putting green that runs at like a 12. They have every sort of, piece of equipment and technology, like the quads and the force plates and all the fitting for all that. Like it's a solid spot. So I've been going there a few times a week for the last 2 weeks. But yeah, like to be honest, when I'm home, like, I don't know, the last little while, I'd be home for the last few years. I'd be home for like a month. I'd take a few weeks off and then hit balls for a few days indoors. and go off and get somewhere early and practice outdoors for like 2 weeks. So
Right.
yeah, haven't had to worry about it too much, I guess.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping you'd say that St. Charles one, because we went there. When was that? 2 years ago, and it was in like October, I think, when it opened up, and we were fortunate
you went in the
enough to go
studio?
there. Well, no, we golfed the course in October because it was a really nice day. So we were fortunate enough to go out there, and we went and hit balls on the range, and I saw that off to the side there, and it looked pretty sick.
Yeah, it's perfect, and they use it in the summer too. They'll just have the bays open, and they have all the cameras set up and everything. And,
Right.
It's really good for all the guys teaching there.
Yeah, that's sweet.
So I guess tonight the agenda is going to be we're gonna talk about 2021, the year it was, and look forward to 2022. See what you got coming up. We're gonna spend a bit of time talking about our mutual pal, closer to you, obviously, Derek Ingram, and his new book that we're all kind of a little bit into, I guess, now, and a couple things along that route, and then a couple things at the end. But before that, in 2021. You were stuck in South Africa for a little while. So I had, it wasn't funny, but I liked your is it your wife, Chelsea, right? She had a couple tweets.
Yeah.
But I got a good kick out of your tweet because it was a very, pretty much the exact opposite of what I would have tweeted. You were like really kind-hearted about it, like trying to make nice with Justin Trudeau, like with a little laugh face and stuff. I would have had to probably stick a dynamite and a skull or something on there. So maybe just give us a quick rundown of what happened and just walk us through the situation.
The tweet was more of just like a joke. So why I kind of did it is like it actually stirred up a lot of, I got a lot of messages, and it kind of opened a few like doors. And like the only reason I did it is, this is backtracking to something that has nothing to do with this, but there was like 2 years ago, I bought myself a TrackMan, and the first tournament that I was ever traveling to with it, I was going from Vancouver to Australia, and I left my TrackMan like an idiot at the gate in the airport. So I'm panicking this whole flight, and I'm calling everyone. I'm doing everything I can, reaching out to airport security, phoning, and nothing worked. And I jokingly sent a tweet to the Vancouver airport, and like they got back to me and ended up getting in contact with the right person, and I found it within half an hour.
Unreal.
Wow.
So with this, it made me think back to that. So I jokingly did it. And I actually had a lot of there was this other field hockey team that was in South Africa, and like these like news networks reached out to me, and it kind of like opened some doors where it kind of helped a little bit.
Nice.
So I was just pissed off, jokingly did it, but it actually kind of helped down the road. But yeah, just long story short with the South Africa stuff, like we were supposed to have 3 tournaments in a row down there, like all in December, right before Christmas. And during the first one is when this whole Omicron stuff broke out. And so we just happened to be there the wrong time. So they shortened the event to 54 holes, and they were going to fly us all out of there on Sunday to Dubai. And then we were just going to go on our own ways from there. So it was fine. And then they had rain issues and whatever. So we ended up only playing 36 holes, and the Dubai government canceled the flight like 8 hours before we were supposed to leave to go to Dubai. So then it was starting to get a little worrisome. And this is right when they just renamed it to the Dubai Ports World Tour.
Right.
So if anyone's going to have some pull to get us in there, you think it would probably be them. So that was concerning. So yeah, no countries were allowing you to fly there or through there unless you were a resident or like a citizen. So I had multiple different ones, and it's so hard to keep up with all the like rules and with all the different countries. So I had multiple times where I was turned away or flights were canceled. So Frankfurt was the only place I could go through. And I said, okay, when's the next flight? They said like 8 days. I was like, okay, that's not good, because they could change the rules again.
Yeah.
Wife being at home on opposite time zones was just refreshing. And I guess through the night, a seat came available. So she booked it for me. So I was able to get out like 2 days later, had to do it. The problem was that Canada was making you test in another country other than South Africa. So my COVID test, I had banged out like 5 in 5 days in South Africa. that was, apparently that wasn't good enough. So I needed to do one in Frankfurt. And then you got to go airside within 6 hours on your layover or whatever. So they charge you whatever they want to charge you. So I think that was like $400
for the test.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't even want to know how much I've spent on COVID tests.
Oh my fuck.
Normally they're like free through the tour and they do them, but like, yeah, good times. So yeah, ended up and then had to stay in a hotel in Toronto for 2 days. And that was an experience getting out of there. So
same thing. It was just due to testing in Toronto.
Yeah. So I had to do a test when I landed in Toronto, which was, probably going to be negative because I had just done like 6 in the last 6 days and one like 8 hours before the flight.
And are they all the rapid tests? Is that what you're doing?
No, I think they were PCR because they took a few hours to get back.
Okay.
They can probably charge you more.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And then, so when I was in the Toronto hotel, I was there for like a day and a half or whatever. And they emailed me my result and I was like, okay, perfect. Like I can leave. So I just like go to leave and they're like security guards and like people in like the full on hazmat suits are like yelling at me that I can't leave. I'm just like, okay, like trying to show them the result on my phone. And they like escort me back up to my room and tell me that I need to be like discharged and I need some like letter. So I'm kind of like, okay, this is dumb, but whatever. So I have a flight in like 3 hours and I'm sitting there. It's been like 45 minutes, an hour. Start calling people. I'm trying to see if I can get a hold of someone and talking to the security guard, talked to him a few times. And on like the third or fourth time, I just lose my shit. Cause this has been like 3 or 4 days. I'm like, this is just dumb. Like I literally have my result back. And then he yells back at me and he's like, you're not leaving here tonight. Like whatever. And he's just trying to like flex on me. I was just ready to snap. And I'm pretty calm. So if you were somebody who ran hot, this could have been ugly. So yeah,
I'm running hot right now.
Ended up going down there and just kind of talking to somebody and ended up, I got out of there and this letter that they gave me the letter. Nobody asked to see it. I just gave it. Anyways, got to the airport, missed my original flight, had to book a new flight like 2 hours later.
Christ.
Oh my God.
So you had to pay for all the flights? Like you had to pay for that missed one?
Yeah, the new one. The tour ended up throwing us some money for our inconvenience, so I was okay. But it's just like the principle of it was just
wow,
100%.
Exhausting.
That's a joke.
Yeah,
that's a
absolutely
joke.
Exhausting.
I said I was going to make a long story short, but I didn't. But
no, that's
you got the whole.
Well, you did with the first part with your TrackMan there.
Wow.
I think that was your TrackMan. You mentioned a brief story. You said you almost lost it one time, so we never got the full story, but we heard it tonight. So good to go.
Oh, I think that makes all the blood in this whole thing.
Yeah, holy.
Yeah. Really biting my tongue here, like more than might chew it off.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys feel about the whole situation, but that experience was it's just frustrating when you go to like I'm going to these other countries and like things are pretty normal. And then
it's like, can you guys not talk to each other? Like how is it so completely and you watch like hockey and 20,000 people packed in a arena and we can't have one person in that.
Yeah.
No sense even getting into
it.
No. Everybody feels the same way.
You have to wonder though, like Paul Maurice, like he was the coach of the Jets and obviously he resigned or whatever happened there. But I honestly think that bullshit that you guys are living through right now with all the testing and everything that you have to do, I think that played a big part of his decision. If ultimately it was his decision, I was thinking like he's been there for 30 years in the league. He's living in Winnipeg, which is probably one of the worst places in the world right now to be living. And he has to get some shoved up his nose every day when he's perfectly healthy. Like at what point?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when they had to go in the bubbles and like just sit in a hotel room all the time. Like that's
I'd heard that was kind of the reason why is that he was scared they were going to go into a bubble again and he didn't want to go through that again because he said it was like the worst experience ever. So
I'm sure he wouldn't be alone in the league in that either.
No.
Yeah, I think that he was just at the end of his Yeah, and he was at the end of his rope there. And I mean, if he wanted a job, probably he could get one anywhere tomorrow.
For sure.
But he's been around long enough and probably just wants to enjoy life for a little while.
Yeah, good luck
Definitely.
attracting free agents with all this shit going on for the next season, right?
All the Canadian teams.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gong show. Well, let's shift back. Let's
Shift
shift
back
back
into
to
golf, yeah.
golf a bit. Yeah.
A few things about the 2021 season. So we were kind of chatting this weekend and about things we could talk about and whatnot. And I often wondered, I guess, when Chelsea was caddying for you, just how it worked. Basically, like, did she know your game good enough and clubs good enough to overturn a decision on the course, or was she kind of just there for affirmation of your decision?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really. So she was really helpful when we would play somewhere at like altitude. So in South Africa or whatever. So she used to be an accountant, so she was good with the numbers. So I would always convert everything back to Winnipeg numbers. And then, I mean, I have it all written down in a book. My 7-iron goes 175 yards. So once we get to that, like, I'm not really talking to her about that stuff. She would always give me wind. We would always confirm that. She'd always have the compass in the book. And then we actually learned Aim Point Express together this year. So she would feel the putts with her feet. So I like to chirp her and say she didn't really do much, but she was actually pretty helpful. So like always wind, but I'm always choosing my own club and shot shape. But on the greens, like if I was uncertain, like she'd come in and give me like, okay, this is a 2. So she was pretty good with like the percent of the slope. And then I'm doing like the Aim Point Express, right?
Nice.
So it was just confirmation on putting, basically.
Maybe, Aaron, maybe just quickly, because I'm not overly familiar with that myself. So for anybody who's listening, probably not the same. Just maybe walk through what the Endpoint Express is and what it's used for.
I learned it this year too. So I'm still kind of new to it, but the general, gist of it is if you have a putt, you're going to take like, say on a 20-foot putt, you're probably going to take 2 measurements of like where the line of your ball would be. So halfway and then maybe 2/3 of the way. And you literally just feel it with your feet and you kind of train yourself and you figure it out that this is okay. This is a 1.5, this is a 2. And then you base your arm depth off the stimp of the greens. So if it's really fast, your hand's in closer. Mm-hmm. And if the greens are slower, your hands are a little out further and you just have to like calibrate that before the round.
So what do you do with your hand though? Like, what are you looking at there?
So I guess you can't see when you're listening, but basically if it's a 2, I'm going to use 2 fingers.
Oh.
And this one goes in the center of the hole. And then wherever this one goes is basically where I'm going to start the putt.
Oh,
wow.
And that's like everyone reads putts differently. And how you would see it, like some people would pick a high point and get it to there and then let it fall. But the way I saw putts was, okay, I'm going to just aim a ball outside the right or the left edge. And that's kind of when you do an aim point, that's kind of, okay, I'm going to aim it, a cup out.
Right.
Wow.
So it does sound kind of complicated, but basically once you get it down with your feet, it's pretty quick. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And
so when you're looking out like that, you mean like two away from the hole, right? Like not where you're starting it. That's kind of where you're aiming in relation to the hole, like 2 fingers left of the hole, say?
Yeah. So if I have a 15-footer left to right, I feel it's a 2% slope is the highest like amount of slope on that putt. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to use 2 fingers. And if the greens are 12, I'm going to have it a little closer. And then, So you basically just go like this on the center of the hole. And then this will, when you take it away, this is like, okay, this is 2 cups out left.
So that would mostly work for putts that aren't breaking huge amounts.
Yeah. Like if I have like a 4 or 5% slope, I'm not going to be doing this.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Some guys makes might.
Sense.
Okay. Chelsea comes in with her hands too. And
I think you got to have some feel at that point, but I think it's pretty good on, I really like it a lot on like a 1 to 3% slope on like a makeable putt, like 10 to 25 feet. When I get really in close, I don't really do it. It's kind of on those mid-range, like birdie putts.
And you said that's new this year?
Yeah, I started doing that this year.
And so far, better success?
Yeah, I mean, my putting stats were above average or, better than the last year. So I think it worked out okay this year. Nice. I'll continue with it on next year.
Good.
And we were chatting that one day and you said you went with a different caddy for the kind of the last part of the year, hey? Same type of deal with him, putts and wind and.
So he left me alone putting. I did putting totally myself, but he was pretty involved in club decision and wind.
Oh, he was.
Mm-hmm.
So, how did you go about getting it? How did he get to learn your game? Basically, like, did you practice a lot, or did you go play practice rounds and he'd watch like that, or?
Yeah, I mean, we spent 3 months together, and unfortunately for him, he's pretty much watching me play golf every day. So you pick up on it, and you got the TrackMan, and you're doing the games, and just based off that, it's pretty easy on the range. If it's flat, okay, my 7-iron goes this far, my sand wedge goes this far, and we would play games on the range and have discussion even on the range. Like I do a lot of games, like say 100 to 150, you hit 7 shots. And if you get some wind, you can kind of, even just on the range, talk with them. Okay, the wind's in, it's affecting it this much, take this much off a club, and get pretty dialed in with those things. And he's also, been a caddy for 21 years or something like that out there. So,
oh yeah, so he knows.
Yeah.
Nice.
Caddy wise, like, do you cover his cost, like, of travel, everything like that?
I think everyone's probably different. But
or
in
like,
general,
does he get a salary type thing?
Yeah, you would pay them like a salary per week, and then they'd kind of be on their own for figuring out their own travel, and then you give them a percentage of made cut.
Right.
Yeah, it's usually 5% of a made cut, 7% of a top 10, 10% of a win.
Nice.
Unless you're Matt Kuchar, then it's 0.05%.
It's just pocket change, whatever's in the pocket.
Just has to zing Cooch. What was your best finish this year, and I guess kind of go over why it was your best? Like, did the course fit your eye? Conditions? What went into it being your best finish of the year?
I didn't have too many of them this year. I had a lot of good rounds, but not that many good tournament results in the end.
Man,
I think my last tournament was probably my best. I was like 12th or something in South Africa. And I had played really well at that course the year prior too. I had finished 4th at that golf course, so I was really looking forward to that week. So it's kind of shitty that it was only 36 holes, but that's what it is. That was my best one, and I like that golf course a lot. It suits me well. I've played well. There both times I was there. So not nice. My best season, but have another crack at it this year.
Like you said, like you had so many good rounds this year, hey? Like tons of birdies in it. And then there would be almost just that one round per weekend, hey, that kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I went over because I thought that too, because I did a podcast with the 2.5 Sticks boys, and I said, my weekend scores weren't great, and they weren't, but I went over my scoring averages round by round by round, and they were all actually pretty similar.
Oh, really?
Which I was kind of surprised to see.
Sorry, yeah. I didn't mean your weekend scores weren't great. I meant there'd be one round per tournament, basically, that kind of took you out of that top 15 contention. You know what I mean? You had some scores that were, you were right there on a few tournaments, and then just one round, I guess, per tournament, hey? But
yeah, I just probably wasn't consistent over enough, overall, just ball striking wise this year. I actually putted pretty well. Just kind of working on something in the swing right now, and just getting a little flippy. And if you're not controlling the club face with your body and you're relying on timing, maybe that's where that one shitty round comes a week. So trying to sort that out a little bit more for next year. But plenty of good rounds. Just need to put 4 of them together. That's the tough part, hey?
Definitely. Yeah, but at least the good rounds are there, man. Yeah.
We're hoping that you can take a run at the PGA and get up there. And Rigo actually said he was going to leave his job and track you full time. He mentioned that over Christmas. So
Tracker.
No, I said I was going to do that this upcoming season. I didn't say I was going to wait till the PGA.
Even better. There we go.
I haven't told him yet, so this is kind of awkward. I was going to try to break it to him easy, but
I mean, you do it anyway, so you might as well get some rewards for
go
it.
see the world. Yeah,
that app is horrible, man.
Are you pretty dialed into checking the golf and refreshing the scores or what?
Why does it take so long to get into
pretty
that
much
app?
every one of your rounds? Yeah. And not even take so long to get into that app. It takes like 10 minutes. You got to disconnect from the internet and connect again. And then you finally get in there. And then the holes, like sometimes I'm wondering if you're making like a quad on the hole because it takes like
taking a
half an hour to update. Oh my God. It's tough.
Or if you had a stroke on the
Yeah,
fairway.
did he pass away or what happened?
Is there somebody we can talk to about this? Like there has to be. Maybe try sending out a tweet.
I have.
We need Aaron too, though.
Yeah, we need him too. It's not much coming from the golf account with 210 followers. Hey, figure out your app, man. No, that is a frustrating app. So holy.
Coming into the off season, do you have like a game plan every year of what you're going to be focused on? I mean, obviously each year is going to be a little bit different of what maybe you should be focusing more on to get yourself back up and ready for the next year. But like, do you have a game plan set of kind of, I'm going to take a week off and then we'll get back into doing training or on the swing and stuff like that?
Yeah, like I didn't touch clubs for a month. I'm still doing. Kind of focus, found a few areas that I need to. Oh, you guys still there?
Yeah, it froze up for a second there.
There's only a couple seconds.
Yeah.
Maybe just start again, Aaron.
Yeah, so like when I came back this year, I was like, okay, I'm taking a month off. I played a bunch of golf. I wanted a bit of a break. I was still doing stuff in the gym, but DI and I met up and kind of went over all the stats through all the year. I had like 68 tournament rounds that we were analyzing, and kind of gives you strengths and weaknesses basically. And we found where I was kind of struggling a little bit this year and made a bit of a game plan on how to work on those. And then I've been doing that indoors for the last 2 weeks. And just kind of continue to do that before the start of the season and hopefully have it kind of ironed out by the time we start up.
What's your first event?
That's a good question. My schedule is uncertain this year because of the status that I have.
Okay.
Last year it was a little bit easier to figure out what tournaments I was for sure going to be in or not. This year, I don't really know. So start of February, there's one in Ras Al Khaimah. So it's like an hour outside of Dubai, Middle East. I think I might get into that. If not, there's one 2 weeks later in India. So right next door.
COVID capital.
Yeah, who knows if that'll go ahead. They've canceled it the last 2 years. Yeah, so who knows with the schedule. I'm leaving here on this upcoming Monday. I'm going to Dubai. I plan to be there for 2 weeks to practice and get ready, and then start playing tournaments at that point.
So what do you do there? Like, are you just in a hotel for 2 weeks?
No, this time I'm just doing like an Airbnb apartment next to one of the golf courses that I have access to.
Nice.
And then I actually have quite a few friends there now. I was there so much these last like 2 years, I guess, with all the restrictions and stuff, and I didn't want to come home and sit in the hotel or whatever.
Right.
So I just would go there. So I've met some good Canadian guys over there. They always host me, and yeah, it's a good spot for me to go with being so close to all the tournaments around there to start the year. So I'll spend 2 weeks there to be playing and practicing outdoors, and then start up again.
What's their climate like right now?
Oh, it's perfect. It'll be like mid to high 20s. Yeah.
Ugh.
Not so much in the summer though.
I feel very sorry for you.
Is Dubai as deadly as it seems on the internet and on
yeah, it's pretty cool. It's definitely very like fake,
very posh.
Yeah, like superficial.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. People want to take Instagram pictures next to the tall buildings and whatnot. Right. But it's a pretty ideal place if you're looking to go. Like for me to go practice and like train for a couple weeks for golf. Like the weather is perfect all the time. There's like 10 really good golf courses. Access to a few of them with the European Tour has the access to the Jumeirah where they play the like Tour Championship event.
Right.
It's kind of like Phoenix or Vegas.
Okay.
Desert style golf and good weather, and yeah, it's a cool place.
No complaints.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get back to Dubai in a little while here. We're going to talk about their proposed league and the Premier League just a wee bit, but just to stay on 2020, we'll move to 22 here, I guess.
No, I got one last thing.
Oh, do you? Okay, give her hell.
Bopes, your boy. AC
yeah.
bought a head cover for Bopes for being the MC at his wedding.
Yeah.
He had a question on Instagram. What kind of comments?
Course he did.
What kind of comments does Chelsea make on the course to help him relax?
Oh, I think what he's going for there is that she would, at the start of every tournament, she would basically brainstorm a bunch of dirty jokes. And so she'd have them all written down. And anytime the mood wasn't great, she'd bust out a few dirty jokes per round.
Nice.
Nice. I love it.
For.
You have to love that.
Pretty funny with some of the like seasoned veteran caddies. Like I remember we're playing with he now caddies for Lucas Herbert. He's like kind of like a famous caddy. He's got like this big huge beard. And we were playing with one of my buddies who he was working for, and I think a couple of us had just made a bogey. We're like walking off the next tee. It's kind of quiet. Everyone's like pissed off, whatever. So she busts out one of her dirty jokes. And he overheard it, and you just hear him just start dying laughing like 10 yards behind us walking. It's like this little 5-foot blonde girl throwing out dirty jokes.
Oh, that's good stuff.
You probably need that though out there, hey, for something along those lines.
For sure. Yeah.
What she would lack in, maybe some of the golf knowledge and stuff like that. Although it sounds like she's improving with the.
You got more
new
knowledge
putting
than us. What are you
technique and
talking
stuff. Yeah, it's true. But that would sure be handy to have somebody who could just know how to, relax yourself out there, because that's what it comes down to, right?
Yeah.
So another question from Instagram was from Jake Weidenhammer. I think that's how you would say it. But he asked, how close are you to being in the PGA? So when PGA? Or do you even want to play in the PGA? Like, is that your end goal, is to get to the PGA? Or you? I mean, I personally love the Euro Tour and everything that they encompass.
The DP World Tour.
DP World Tour. But like, is that kind of the end goal for you?
I mean, yeah, I guess I probably should say so. But to be honest, if I had full status and full run of every tournament on the European Tour, I think I'd be pretty happy to play over there. In the status that I have, playing all the smaller events is a little bit different. But if you're playing all those big events, like the Rolex events, the Irish Opens, the Italian Opens that are $6 million a pop, it's not too far different from the PGA Tour. Plus you're getting the cultural and world travel experience. So yeah, to be totally honest, if I had like good status over there, I'd be more than happy to play over there for a few more years. That's
going to be a little more expensive for me.
To join you.
Well, so, if it has to be done, it has to be done.
So what is your like status, I guess? Like you've got a certain number of exemptions.
Yeah. So basically I have like, I think it's category 18 or something. I don't even know what it is, but it's a little bit worse than last year. So the priority ranking goes from category 0 to like 25 or something like that. So Rory McIlroy and those guys are top 50 players. They're in category 1. I'm in whatever I just said. And so usually if you're in category 10, you get into any tournament you want. And then after that, it starts getting a little dodgy in terms of like at the start of the year, they start with Abu Dhabi and Dubai, which are like $8 million events. So I'm not getting into those. But then after that, probably I'm thinking maybe 14-ish tournaments this year. Okay. When, a full schedule is probably 20, 22, give or take, maybe a touch more. So you're kind of fighting a bit of an uphill battle, to be honest, right from the start, but I'm not saying that it can't be done if you play well and, you top 10 your way into another week. If I'm in a good position on the money list, you can probably get sponsors exemptions. Could just win a tournament too. That would help.
Oh yeah.
But Yeah, it's part of the pro golf grind, I guess.
Yeah.
So you talked about a couple sessions with DI to kind of review 2021. What was the takeaway from it? Like what comes out of that conversation in terms of action steps and what you think you need to change for 2022?
It's funny, like how small the margins are, like especially when you go through those stats. So like the PGA Tour question, we are breaking it down, and I think I'm like 0.7 or 0.65 of a stroke away per round from the PGA Tour if you do PGA Tour average.
Really?
And then when we were comparing to European Tour for most of the year, I was slightly above the average stuff. So yeah, I was chasing distance a little bit over the last year and a half. So with that, I didn't drive it as great because I probably missed a few more, penalty tee shot type deal. So I want to drive it a little bit better next year. And then from 100 to 175, I laughed when he told me this, but I was basically like 3 feet further away from the hole than what he would like to see. And I was kind of like, well, it's not that big of a deal. But I guess when you break it down, like in the strokes gained per shot and everything like that, so I'm trying to get a little bit better from 100 to 175. And then my 3-putt percentage from like 31 to 99 feet was like 2% higher or something like that. So it's like a couple feet on approaches, a few less bad tee balls, a few less 3-putts.
That's unbelievable, hey?
Yeah.
Like
It essentially becomes Moneyball all of a sudden again, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Similar. So does DI come to you with these stats, or do you?
So
I guess with your TrackMan and stuff like that, it's easier to track stuff nowadays.
Well, so after every round, I just put it into this app shot by shot, and then it kind of does everything for me. And then at the end of the year, you just analyze it all. So we had 68 rounds in there. And then it breaks it down by category. So we just go by category, and then you can kind of compare it to PGA Tour average, compare it to certain averages, just look it all up and see where you're at and where you want to be and moneyball it from there.
Sheesh. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is.
What made you chase distance a little more? Was it our buddy Big Dog Bryson there?
I think he had an impact on everyone, but I was just shorter than what I needed to be. Like I was probably averaging 110 club head speed, and now I'm probably 115. So I think it was just something that needed to be done, and like the way the game is going to compete, it just makes sense, right?
Well, if you think about it, like you're chasing 3 feet to be 3 feet closer to the hole. And I mean, if you can get 10 yards closer to the green from the tee box, your percentage, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of
yeah, if you're hitting a 9-iron in versus an 8-iron, like
exactly.
Maybe one round it's not going to make a difference, but over the course of the year, it's going to add up slowly.
Everything impacts everything on that whole score sheet that you were talking about. So it's just kind of finding the sweet spot for it.
Yeah.
And that's what DI is there for.
Yep.
How often do you check in with him? Like, are you every round after a tournament, every couple of weeks?
Definitely before every tournament. Usually a lot of swing videos and stuff because we obviously don't get to see each other in person that much.
Right.
But yeah, he'll text me after rounds, looking at my stats and seeing how things went. And I'll usually be sending him swing videos leading up to the tournament and just kind of fine tuning stuff. But yeah, it's technology is a nice thing these days. So
for sure,
we're able to get quite a bit done just through, the phone.
Yeah.
That would benefit him quite a bit too, eh?
Yeah, because he's busy too. My God, the guy travels a lot, and he's at all these different events on different tours with some of his different players, and I think he's doing that with a lot of people. So he's a busy guy.
Well, yeah. Think about how limited he would be in 1990 even. Like he couldn't be following you around and following Pendrith and Connors out there. He would have been on like a dial-up phone for 3 hours every night and drawing pictures, and like it's just so crazy.
Sending him VHS tapes everywhere.
Yeah, putting it in the mail.
Yeah.
We on the PGA, I guess, like we get to see like Rahm, Rory, a couple other European guys, but like, are there guys that are studs on that on the European tour that like people come out to see that maybe we would know about, but not how good they really are. I mean, like a couple of those guys at that Century Tournament champions are European, and they're unbelievable, right? And we just don't get to see them because, like you said, some of those, like if you're playing the big persons on the European tour, you're almost better off just to stay over there if you like that, right? Is there a couple guys that are like that?
Yeah, for sure. And I've heard a few guys like on listening to different podcasts, and they kind of said the same thing, that they just like the lifestyle and like the culture and travel, especially if you are a European guy. Like I played a practice round with Fleetwood, and him and his caddy were saying like if the purses were bigger on the European tour, that's like where they would play. But I think most of the fans would come out to see like a big name guy that everyone would recognize, Lee Westwood, like Miguel Angel Jimenez, those types of guys. Whereas like the hardcore golf fans would probably know more of the up and comers. Like Regan, if you're following along, there's like Adrian Meronk or Callum Hill or Rasmus Højgaard. Like those are the guys who are kind of the up and comers who will probably transfer over to the PGA Tour, like Minwoo Lee, Robert McIntyre. Those guys just played themselves into the top 50 in the world, and now they can play that like elite world PGA Tour schedule. So I think when guys do that, I mean, it'd be hard not to, oh yeah, there's a WGC this week with no cut and last place is like 50 grand. Like obviously they're going to go play that.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess those about asking with guys coming over, or sorry, fans coming out to watch, like most of them would be for like the big name guys that, you know, Westwood was number one in the day and those
right.
Because there's not many players that strictly play on the Euro Tour and don't play at all on the PGA Tour, right? Like there's not many players that specifically stay to the big name players, right?
Yeah, the big name guys they'll manage to kind of play both. Mm-hmm. And I know so for them to qualify to play on the Ryder Cup team, the Europeans have to play a minimum number of tournaments. So like the Tyrell Hattons and the John Rahms. But if they play in one that's in their country, it counts twice, I think. So that's why John Rahm came over and played those two events in Spain at the end of the year, I think.
Okay.
Because if they need 8 tournaments, his 2 counted as 4 or something like that. And then they also count the majors and stuff. So like, you know, you see like Colin Morikawa and Billy Horschel like winning the race to Dubai because the majors and the WGCs count.
Oh, gotcha.
They just play a few of the other tournaments. It's kind of a interesting system, but
a little chintzy.
Yeah. That Seamus Power sick to watch, man.
What's that?
That Seamus Power. I don't know if that's how you say his first name, but Seamus. Well, I don't know.
I mean, that's how it's spelled.
I love watching him, man.
You're very cultured.
He's won me some cash. He's won me some cash too.
Well, that's why you know so much about this. You're betting on everyone. You're deep in the weeds.
Degenerate.
That Higo, whatever it is, he's sick too.
You're betting on Euro Tour, Rigo?
Oh, I bet
that'd be a conflict of interest. Hopefully, the gambling commission doesn't see this.
Just trying to find my next pick. So, who's the up and comers you got coming up?
To kind of piggyback off of what you mentioned that Fleetwood said, what's kind of the buzz amongst you guys with the rumors and the speculation of these new leagues forming?
Well, there's so much going on, right? Like with even just with them renaming the DP World Tour and everything that's happened with that, like guys are excited about that because purses are going up.
Just means more money. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is valid that it's renamed the World Tour. Like we play more events outside of Europe than we do in Europe.
Oh, I never realized that.
Until you
think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 1 or 2 more when you look at the global schedule that are actually outside of Europe. So I think it's valid that it's the World Tour. And Dubai has been like a huge supporter of the European Tour in the past, and it's all kind of fitting. But, you know, when you're playing for more money, the players are happy, right?
For sure.
But I think there's definitely something to the, you know, these Saudi leagues or whoever's behind it all. And, because at the end of the day, like in other sports, guys are paid a salary for what they're worth, right?
Yep.
In golf, you know, when Rory McIlroy shows up and plays in the Irish Open and I play in the Irish Open, and I beat him and made more money than him. He added way more value than what I added. But that week I made a few more dollars. Like, so the idea of them paying guys like a salary and then you would play for the money on top of that, it does seem to kind of make sense when you think of it that way. And I know there's people would probably say like oversaturation with the PGA Tour schedule is there's an event every week. There needs to be maybe a bit more of an off season. And it sounds like they want to do like 20 tournaments or something like that. Like kind of model it like around Formula One. I don't know if you guys are into that.
Yep.
Yeah, we
Huge.
did a whole we listened to No Laying Up's version of it. I think it was did you listen to that one?
Well, they were more the Premier League as opposed to
the Premier,
the Saudis.
Right.
Oh, okay. Because I think the Saudis bought the Asian Tour.
Right.
So the Asian Tour is playing an event. So the DP World Tour, it's hard to keep track of everything. The DP World Tour is playing in Abu Dhabi, Dubai. And then the week after, conveniently, the event in Saudi is being run by the Asian Tour with like its biggest purse ever. And that's the one where they're paying all these big appearance fees.
Right.
Well,
and there's conflicts from, we've received emails about you need to get a release in like handwritten from the commissioner.
To go to these other tournaments?
Yeah. Which I didn't know that they could honestly do that. I thought we were kind of
free agents.
Yeah. But I guess when we sign up for our membership at the start of the year, it's probably in the fine print.
Yeah, I guess that kind of would make sense.
Do
you think it hurts? I'll use like it's tough to get this one out after saying European Tour forever, but like the DP World and like the PGA, do you think they're going to take a hit with these other guys coming in? Like, is it going to affect them by a lot? Like, I think if these other ones are successful, these ones are going to take a shit kicking. If they're poaching the biggest talent, it's going to be harder for these guys. Now, if they can combine it or kind of be in bed with them and make it work, that's probably the best. But I don't see that happening.
I don't think that's
the Saudis.
Happening. No, I think that's what the strategic alliance between the DP World Tour and the PGA Tour is I heard that I think it was the Saudi people, they were going to like take over the European Tour, and then last minute Monahan and Pelly made a deal, and that's where you see this strategic alliance. But yeah, you'd have to think if big name players are going, it's going to hurt the PGA Tour. But at the same time, like they have so much money and such like a stranglehold on like the US market and with all their sponsors and everything, that it also wouldn't surprise me to see them just keep on ticking on.
And the same way, I guess, like that these other up and coming tours will gain like some kind of investor. I think the PGA could get some angel investor too if it came to it too.
I don't think that money's the issue though with the PGA. Like that's one of the things that we talked about was just like they had Tiger. That's what they had. Tiger was the PGA for 20 years. And, he's gotten into some shit and some injuries and stuff. But like, how do you think that the PGA proceeds from here? Like, do they like what? I mean, we talked about having Charlie coming up, but that's a couple of years away. But like, what do you think? What do you think that the PGA needs to do? Because the Euro Tour seems to have it figured out a lot better in terms of promoting their players and
so that's part of the strategic alliance. I think the biggest thing of what the PGA Tour wanted was like the media team from the European Tour.
Oh, okay.
And so now you've started to see that. So I don't know if you guys saw on social media, they did that. The PGA Tour did the video of like the year-end review.
Yeah.
And it was very similar to what you saw the European Tour do in years past, right? So
there was crossover players a lot there,
for sure,
too, right? Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, with John McGinley.
Yeah, so I think that's probably a big part of it, especially like just how big social media is now and how you reach out to the casual fan or try and get.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that makes total sense because in a lot of situations they're playing with the same guys. Why would they be competing against each other for that? They should be working together. And I didn't know that, so I'm glad to hear that the PGA took that route because I think that they were about to drown if they didn't.
Yeah, the Euro Tour,
shit.
Unbelievable social media wise.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you'll probably start to see the PGA Tour do a lot better job because I think it's the European Tour guys who are going to be running it.
Right. That's good.
Okay, so
Perfect.
So the PGA had their contest or whatever. Had some weird name. What was it, Rigo?
PIP, wasn't it?
Yeah. Whatever.
PIP.
Oh, the Pip.
Didn't Tiger win?
No, you
I
got
think
second.
Phil won.
How about Phil's
Oh.
fucking sewer of everybody on like the last day saying he won, so he got more traction. That's unbelievable.
Is that what happened?
Yeah. So it was 2
That's
days before.
genius,
It was 2
actually.
days before they called it, and he just started saying he won. So he started gaining all this traction.
No.
Yeah.
Did
If
they
I'm-
ever
If I'm
release
wrong,
like
shoot me in the head,
who
but I might be wrong.
were the other guys? Like who came like 2 to 10 or whatever it was?
Tiger was second,
was 11th. I know that.
and Tiger was second, I think.
Yeah.
So I think that, I mean, that clearly is just a way to, keep the big dogs around with pad in their pockets a little bit more, right?
For sure. For sure.
I hope that
But that's the
I hope
prize.
Jim
Like,
Herman didn't.
what's wrong with Hermie?
Jim Herman tried way too hard, man.
Did he?
I don't know.
I didn't see any of it.
You didn't see any of his tweets, man? It was embarrassing. I had
Okay.
secondhand embarrassment. It was
But, like-
pathetic, but
Phil, at least he makes videos. You can tell that Phil is the guy behind his phone for the most part. Tiger's not.
No.
Tiger didn't send out one tweet last year that was himself doing it.
No,
Yeah, but
fuck,
Tiger
he just
needs-
about died.
Tiger needs 20 years of back pay, man.
That's true. He needs a lot of back.
Yeah, I mean he deserves every dollar that he ever gets, but still, like, that's not the way you improve your social media game. Paying the richest guy in the world.
No, and I like how the
Somebody
Euro
else to tweet.
Tour did focus on like some of the, like, I guess they're lesser names for us, but like guys like that Marcus Artemage, I think was his name, where he
Oh.
did that hitting the ball into the convertible.
The bullet.
Yeah, he seems like a
They-
beauty too.
They love him, and he's funny, but then when they turn the camera on, he gets like even more funny. And he's a very interesting character. And yeah, the first year that I played the Challenge Tour, he was there, and they would do like literally anything social media or like engagement, they would try and have him. And I guess they had to, like, people were telling him they need to have someone else just because he's so good. But yeah, it's good to have like not all the stars all the time. Like, you got to switch it up a little bit, I guess, too, right?
Have you played with Tyrell Hatton?
No.
No.
Damn.
You know,
Oh,
okay.
For some like snap show stories from him,
Yeah.
or what?
That just reminded me. I had one more question
Absolutely
just
love him.
that we were brainstorming. So there was talks last time we were on here, you talked about playing with Rom and had some funny stories about him, but there was talks, I think it was the Masters when he hit that shot and he like quick hooked one. And I guess like they panned away and went to somebody else, but I guess he absolutely blew up and like was like running around the course, like just swearing for like 2 minutes straight, like just running around banging his club and stuff.
Happy Gilmore.
So, but like, I guess like, is there crazy stuff that happens like that? Like, have you seen stuff like that that just doesn't make TV? Like, have you seen any of that in your groups or heard funny stuff? Like, is there
Yeah.
quite a bit of it?
Yeah, I have such a bad memory when it comes to this stuff. I need to start like writing this down. You definitely see guys snapping out there, and there's people who are like notorious for it. I don't have any like great stories that come to mind right away. But yeah, I think that's something the PGA Tour should like do a better job. Like, honestly, people want to see that stuff, right? Like 99% of
Promote
people
it,
yes.
want to see that, and they kind of shy away from that. But I think it's pretty hilarious.
It's
Oh, yeah.
unbelievable. And
I
it
guess
might
it-
not be for everybody, but like our groupish of people would love that shit and
Yeah.
we'd certainly pay for it. Like we always said, like if they're doing that, whatever 30 for 30 on the PGA this year, like the F1 series,
Mhm.
if they did that every year, like I'd certainly pay to have access to watch that stuff.
I think
I had
yeah,
a funny story that I just quickly thought of it was a college teammate. So not like a good name guy that I can rattle off for you, but after one of the rounds, we're getting back in the like rental car, and this guy ran hot, and he just takes his club. We're kind of parked up against like a bush, and he goes to the back he sets his bag down by the trunk, and So he sets his bag down by the trunk, starts just kind of like walking in circles, and you can just see him just steam coming out of the air. And so he just starts going through his bag, takes his clubs out one by one, went through every single iron and put them over his knee. Just snapped every single iron.
I love it.
So funny. I wish I could have had it on video.
Oh man, this was in college or on the tour?
College.
So were you done the event, or did he have to like get rentals for the next round?
I think it was at the end of the tournament. I don't know what he did for clubs, but you'd have to feel like an idiot after that, just going through all those shafts. But
it would feel good in the moment, though.
Yeah.
But as soon as you're
like after
done,
one, though, I feel like I would do one, and that'd be good.
Nope, one more.
No, you know what? One more.
I think that the PGA though they don't want to promote that kind of stuff, right? Because it's not good for the game. But who are they to say whether it's good or not? Like, let parents teach that stuff. They're not God. They're not. You know what I mean? Like, they're not.
Yeah.
Let people see what they want to see.
It is tough.
I
though.
hate
guess
when they
you're
try to
trying-
censor shit like that.
But if you're trying to teach young kids the game, and these kids are on there, or the kids are watching this guy on TV absolutely blow his gasket, then he's going to go on the golf course and do the same thing, just like we did with watching fist
The
bumps
reality
and stuff like
is,
but
the
I mean,
reality
like,
is, kids are going to do it regardless.
that. Yeah, maybe, but they're going to imitate
if my kid
something
sees
that they
me
see on
blow
TV.
up, because that's going to happen, he's going to blow up too. It doesn't matter what he saw on TV.
Because that's going to happen. Just counts on it.
Some of Tiger's best moments was when he was slamming clubs and swearing and stuff like that. I love that stuff.
But maybe, like you said, drums, a 30 for 30. Like maybe they don't have to show that stuff on air, but give it to a streaming site or a
they should do
Netflix
that.
or somebody like that and partner up and split the profits and show the outtakes or the stuff that happens behind the scenes. I think that would be. I think that's the best of both worlds. Yeah.
Do you think guys would like go for that though? Like if there was more of a behind the scenes thing? I don't know if you've watched that F1 series on Netflix, but like
that Drive to Survive, that was like one of the best documentaries I've ever seen. Yeah.
We got tickets to Montreal this summer.
Would you be on board for like being featured in something like that if it came to it?
I think it would just depend on, you'd have to get the right guys. Like a lot of it too is they have to be willing to like kind of play it up in front of the camera or just be themselves too, right? Like a lot of guys would probably just kind of shy away and be very conservative.
There was probably only one that I could think of, like what's his name? Daniel. No.
Ricardo.
The Australian guy.
Well, he
Ricardo.
played it up. Yeah, he played it up.
He was the only one that kind of played up, but I actually liked it. I didn't think that he did it in a superficial way. I didn't. I thought that was basically who he was, and nobody else. I didn't find that anybody else really played the part and played it up. I think that that's their job, is like the crew to ask the right questions and the producers to kind of bring that out of people. So I just thought it was cool to get behind the scenes of all the stuff that takes place that you'd never see on TV, similar to golf.
Yeah, I think that show actually made people not like Verstappen, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, it didn't work for me. I liked him. So that concludes the first part, I think, unless you have any other questions, any bonus questions.
What was this last one here? Oh, Patty Law was asking, is Dice the most underrated amateur in Manitoba?
Yeah, 100%.
100.
I always say that all the time. He the last amateur that he played in was at Bridges, and I caddied for him. I don't know when that was, like 14, 15 maybe. And he gets so nervous. So like just playing in the Manitoba Am, he was like shaking on the first tee. He fired like 80. And after that, I was like, "What the hell are you doing, man?" Like I always tell him if he plays like decent, like he should win. And so the next 3 days he shoots like in the 60s every day, and I think he came third. And then this year at Nipawa, he almost won or could have won, right? Yeah, he's really good. I play with him quite a bit.
What happened again this year in Nipawa? Who won?
Braxton Kunst.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He chipped in.
He made that shot on 18, right?
Yeah,
he made that putt on 18.
On Nipawa 18th hole, came down there tied. They both hit it to like Dice hit it to like 40 feet. He hit to like 30 feet. Dice legged it up there close, and then he rattled one in off the flag stick.
Off the flag, yeah.
Right.
It had some pace.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I love that.
That should be illegal to finish with a par 3, to be honest. I honestly think it should.
It's a cool hole, though. It is a cool finishing hole.
Par 5 finish or bust for me.
Nipawin is pretty good track, actually. It's pretty
Very
fun.
good.
Yeah, it is.
They just had a couple tough years. No, a couple tough years.
Oh yeah.
And with the flooding, yeah. So I think that they kind of brought her back because that was at the end of last year. They had the amateur, and I think that the people who played it said that it was decent considering all that they had gone through there. So it is a really good track, and it's good setup for competitive golf like that.
Their superintendent's a sick golfer. I think that Kirkowicz. So I think he plays a pretty big impact on that.
Okay, let's do rapid fire questions. We have, I think, 8 of them in total here. And drums. Let's do.
First one we got before we get you out of here is favorite course to play on the European Tour or the DP World Tour.
Leopard Creek in South Africa. I think I probably rambled on to you guys about that last time, but not many places I've been where you can stand on a tee box and look around and see elephants and zebras, and the place itself is it's owned by the guy who basically owns all of South Africa. He's like the 20th richest guy in the world, and I guess this place gets like 20 rounds a month, and it is in just perfect condition.
It's only played 20 times a month.
Apparently,
so they
there's
just
like
save
20
it for the
rounds a
tournament.
month. Yeah, and it's just kept like pristine. No bad holes, like championship quality. Like one of the years, like -8 won it because he just wants it to play really tough. So it's like fast and firm, like long rough. Like it's so legit.
Doesn't
cool,
that seem like a waste of a course?
I guess if he's got that much money, maybe he's got a few of them. I don't know, but it's one of those places that needs to be like seen by more people, and
Definitely.
in the magazines and stuff. But it probably never really will be.
That's sick. I just remember seeing those Instagram pictures he had. Like it just looked so cool. Like, yeah, unbelievable. Really, like truly.
That was Leopard Creek, right?
Leopard Creek. It's in Mala Lane, South Africa.
Leopard.
What is your favorite golf account to follow online?
I don't really know if I follow any. There's one. It's like they post like slow-mo golf swings.
Ooh.
Oh, really?
I'm trying to think.
That's all they do?
You guys don't know who it is, or they just post like sacred links or something.
Okay, I think I
Is that who it
remember
is?
seeing like some.
They just post like really
Pop up on the
good
timeline.
golf swings throughout the years, or like photos of cool holes.
Like a Ben Hogan breakdown of like a bunch of
Yeah,
different-
I think that's what it's called, sacred links. I actually don't even think I follow it, but I just see stuff every now and then.
Good. I'm happy you didn't say like Zyre or Scratch or something like that. I've been pretty lame, but I'll have to check that one out. What's your favorite on-course game to play in Manitoba or with buddies or whoever? I mean, it's probably hard for you to play with your buddies in this day and age with
Wolfhammer.
Wolfhammer?
Wolfhammer.
What's the number of players, and give a quick description?
Probably best with 4 guys. The order is determined at the start of the day for the whole day. If I tee off first, whoever tees off second, I have to decide before the third person hits if I want the second guy as my partner. So like if I tee off, second guy goes, pumps it in the trees, I just say nothing. Third guy hits it down the fairway, I would take him. You play for whatever you want to play for in points or like ticks.
Right.
And you can hammer when you're like clearly in a better position than the other team. So if we got 2 guys in the fairway and they got 2 guys behind trees, we can hammer them, and the bet for the hole will double, and they can accept it if they want, or they can release it. And if they release, they just lose whatever that hole was starting at.
Right.
Oh,
birdies double the hole, and eagles again. So you can start at like $1, and next thing you know, you have a few double ups and carryovers, and
It's basically, yeah, it's the same as Wolf, eh? Just a different.
it sounds a little more confusing than what it is. Basically, you're just hammering the other team when you're in better positions than them. And especially on the greens, like say if I hole a 10-footer and you have a 5-footer, when you're in the hole first and you're like always hammering back.
oh
Right.
okay, yeah.
Drums,
that
it would
way
be the
it-
same as Wolf, except it's hammering instead of bumping.
Oh, and again with the wolf part is when you can decide to go on your own, right? Is that how you
Yeah.
guys play it too?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
you do
yeah.
one against three, that automatically doubles it. So
Yeah.
So if
Same
they
idea, it sounds
decline,
like.
if they decline your hammer, they release it.
Mhm.
They automatically lose the hole.
they just lose the hole, yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Is there two sides to yours or no? Or just one side?
Two sides.
So when we play Wolf, like there'd be the high
Lefties,
side and the
righties.
low side. No, the high side and the low side. So say that it's me and Joe on a team against you in drums, and me and you are the low ones. We play for the snips
Oh.
on the low side, and then Jordan drums would play for the score on the high side.
No.
And then so the snips go. There's two sets of snips on the hole. It gets pretty crazy actually.
Okay, I haven't done that before. But
Hey, it's
any
pretty cool.
More
I just
action,
play.
the better.
People keep score.
But it's better to play with 5 players that way if you're gonna do two sides. But anyways,
Okay.
so it seems like a better way to do it almost if you only have 4 guys.
And then we usually do so through 15 holes, you keep that order that you're playing with all day, and then whoever is down the most amount of money starts on 16 tee. He sets what he wants the hole to start at, and then he gets to tee off first because that's the advantage to tee off first. And then
Oh
for
yeah.
the last 3 holes, you would do that every hole. The guy who's losing gets to start and set it at whatever he wants.
Oh shit.
It's an
So-
advantage to go first or to
Oh, yeah.
decide.
Yeah, you want to go first.
Because then you get to
Oh,
Then
decide.
you
Well, you
get
pick your
you're-
team.
You're basically
Oh, yeah,
picking
yeah.
a
Okay,
partner.
same thing. I got you. Yep.
And usually on a par 3 is if, like, say I tee off first and I hit it to like 8 feet, then I can kind of just wait, and then you go wolf on those ones.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to be going first.
I've seen Rabarchuk lose a lot of money in situations like that in the last 3 holes.
Oh, because he tries to get it back.
Yeah. Oh, it gets ugly anyways. I don't want to throw him under the bus on here. Oh, Jeremy?
Drums, you want to go again?
One change. What is one change that you've made that's had the biggest impact on your game? Not necessarily this year, but overall in your career.
I think just this last year, just adding club head speed and working with the speed sticks and swinging hard and working in the gym, it's just upped the ceiling of my game, I guess. I was like a short hitter before, and now I'm average to slightly above average on the European Tour. So it's just a big help.
And what are we talking yardage?
Well, I probably can carry it like 20 yards further
Oh wow.
now than a year and a half ago. That might be a
Really?
big guess of maybe 15, but it was
still,
just
that's
with all the, the fitting and getting everything in the right window and like maximize. Like I was doing it the other day with Eric Johnson, like, and I was carrying it like 300 yards because I have everything like pretty much optimized, like the right launch, the right spin. Like I don't swing it crazy fast, but if you have everything kind of dialed in, that's obviously a big part of it too.
Makes that much difference.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
what's your lowest score ever and what course is it on?
62. I did it at Niagara 2 years ago, and then in Spain this year on the European Tour.
Same
Nice.
score, 62.
62, yeah.
Woof.
You guys got that one beat?
Yeah, no.
That's a bad back nine for some guys in the league.
I actually shot it at Dauphin, but that's not Niagara or Spain. And it wasn't at a competitive event.
The day that I shot it on the European Tour, a guy in my group beat me.
Jesus.
He shot 61.
You go home and just scratch your head. Eh? What am I supposed to do? How'd you
What-
play? Well, I shot 62. Oh, so you must be
Lost.
close to actually. I didn't even win my group.
Yeah, imagine betting on that one, Rigo, on your was it 2 ball?
Yeah, 2 ball.
That'd be a bad beat, eh? Oh,
Yeah.
What's your favorite? I'm sure you probably have the ball maybe from one of those rounds, but what's your favorite piece of golf memorabilia? Your own, and then if you're a collector, something else cool you picked up along the road.
Probably like Scotty Cameron putters and head covers. Been lucky enough to snag a few of those at some of the events, and I got a few, and I just realized what some of those Circle T putters are worth. So that's probably why I'm so excited about having a few of them.
What do you mean? You're like swiping them or what?
No, I've used some of them for a few events. But just at some of the events, like they have all the trucks and everything like that.
Oh yeah.
And so I've managed to accumulate a few putters along the way.
But are you still using your Fang putter?
Yeah, still got the same Odyssey Fang putter, but I've kind of been mixing in one of the Scotty Camerons that I got. It looks basically the same. I think it's like Justin Thomas would use.
Is it like the Phantom or the?
No. I think that's what it is. The 5 or 5.5. I don't know which one it is.
Black?
I think it's silver.
Silver? I think JT's is silver, but the Phantoms have been black. I don't know. I'm not a golf expert or golf equipment expert. Anyways, last two questions to round out the show. Most underrated course in Manitoba? You told us your favorite last time was Elmhurst. Most underrated courses might be hard for you though, because it sounds like you haven't ventured too far outside of Stoney there. Yeah. But and then toughest course as well in Manitoba.
I think toughest, if you played Granite Hills from the tips, it's pretty legit. I mean, it's pretty tight. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of water out there. It's pretty long too.
We had our poll there on Instagram for the awards, and actually there was several people that said Granite specifically from the tips. Yeah. So there must be quite a variance there between the blacks and the blues or the.
It's kind of one of those places too. If you move 1 or 2 up, you can carry all the bunkers,
right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're flipping it in instead of being in them or in the trees if you're playing the tips.
And we played it kind of similar to you too. We played it before. I think we played it early June, the one year, and then like you said, you were later in the season. So I kind of want to see what that course looks like in prime shape. I imagine it's a little bit different experience than even what we had just early in the season, still kind of having that roughness to it. But yeah.
And then what was the other one? Underrated?
Most underrated, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a bad guy as I haven't played that many recently. I'll say Toulon just because I've been there a few times. That's where I grew up. And it actually is a pretty good track. A lot of good holes.
And definitely underrated because we never hear about it.
Right.
Yeah. I guess out your guys' way, you're a little far away, but from people in the city, I mean, it's 40 minutes, maybe something like that from the edge of the perimeter there. And it's like 6,500 yards, plenty of trees, scenic. It's fun. There's a lot of like drivable par 4s, reachable par 5s. So if you hit the ball, at like 250 yards, you could have a lot of fun out there.
It's a sick course.
Yeah. And it's usually in good shape.
I've actually probably played it the most of any course in like southern Manitoba, like honestly, like not even close to anything else. I don't know why. It always just seems to fit in on golf trips. Like to go to Granite, you play it. To go to that Grand Pines, you play it. And I mean, I think they had a couple of juniors there maybe when we were younger.
Yeah.
Was it not on the way to Buffalo Point as well? Or it was for us anyways this year?
Yeah.
Buffalo Point,
Buffalo Point's pretty far away.
Or Hecla. Sorry.
Yeah,
that was 2 years ago. Hecla.
Yeah, it'd be close to
Hecla, not Buffalo Point.
Yeah, that's right.
Are you guys like big into seeing all the courses around the province and doing a good job of seeing, everything and rating everything and getting
definitely starting to more.
Yeah, it's cool.
There's a lot. It's tough with full-time jobs.
And it's tough with how Manitoba's restrictions and all that stuff is. It's just we're stuck, right? So we got to try to make the most we can with around here.
There is quite a few good golf courses, yeah. Like Grand Pines, I've never been there. I've heard that's pretty good too.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
Like
and
such
what's
a good
that
track.
One out by you guys, like Oak
Island.
Oak Island.
That's supposed to be really good too,
Unreal.
right?
That's me and Jor's favorite. So if you're back at all in this summer, let us know and we'll get out there. if you can.
Yeah. Yeah. I know I'm
Yeah,
back
Oak's sick.
for all of April, but that might be weather dependent.
Yeah, true.
Well,
Weather
the
and
last couple
other
years. Yeah, true. Other
Gilbert
for sure.
Plains is good. We played, I've been out there one time. I remember it was pretty solid track, isn't it?
It's improved like 10 times over in like the last 5 years.
Okay.
But yeah, that's my favorite course to pump up on here.
Okay.
Obviously, I live 20 minutes away from it, so. I played Falcon Lake this summer. That's a sick course, man.
Falcon's good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool course. I would definitely go back there.
Falcon's
Good
kind of similar to
too,
your
like,
lake area,
it's-
right?
Not as hilly though, like at all, but it's the same type of. It's in the trees. Like it's a sick course. Like just in such good shape. Like
It's pretty wide off the tee, but if you do miss it, it's like shit on a lot of this both sides.
Gone.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Yeah,
Well,
it's awesome.
I think we've taken up enough of your time. We'll let you get back to the hockey game behind you. But thank you very much for joining us again. And we look forward to following you on the DP World Tour this year. If the app will work, as Reg said, we have some struggles, and I've noticed, I've even caught myself watching on TV a little bit more and more when I can. So we look forward to following you again for another successful year. Best of luck, and thanks again for joining us, buddy.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, guys. I like what you're doing, and thank you for the head covers, the recent ones and the ones upcoming. I will be sure to pump those up on social media as best I can for the boys. They're great quality. I don't know if you guys are doing them yourselves. You can't be looking at you three guys. No, they're awesome. You guys do a good job, and I love what you're doing. So happy to be on.
No, they're in the mail today for you, buddy. So they
Cool.
should be there express. They should be there tomorrow or Thursday. So that's good. You got a couple of days window there. And we do not have them. We tried teaching Rigo to do them in the basement, but he failed miserably. So we got a lady here at Alexander, about 25 minutes away. She does them. She's been working with leather for 25 years. So she's the expert. We just put them together and or we design them, she puts them together. So we're happy to be on your bag again this year. And for me especially, and we just want to wish you the best of luck 2022. We think it's going to be the best year yet for everything and for your game too. So hopefully it carries through to that.
Awesome. Thank you, boys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, buddy, always good chatting. You Easton said that your 3 head covers are her 3 favorites yet, so it's the best set yet. So
pretty good.
that's a high praise.
Yes.
Yeah.
We should mention that actually you designed the hybrid last time, which was the leaf, red and white leaf, and you put your designs together for this one. So that's kind of cool too. It adds a little bit more to it, I think.
You're gonna have to start paying this guy. Jesus.
I know.
Yeah, hopefully you guys are selling lots of those. How are they doing in relation to the other ones? Better or worse?
Depending on your results.
Non-disclosure.
Hey, maybe the DP will put in some money into the app, and we'll get some shot by shot updates this year. That'd be nice.
That'd be bad for your screen time and scrolling, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, it would be better.
Talk to
Man,
somebody.
honestly.
Talk to somebody.
I'm sitting there like the chicken going down, trying to refresh it to see your score on the next hole. I might be able to get some work done, anyways.
Okay, thanks, Aaron. Appreciate
All right,
it,
Matt.
buddy.
Thanks
Chatting,
again,
buddy.
buddy.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.